Ever pondered what the future holds for gaming and technology in the Baltic and Nordic regions? The answer lies in the evolution of the Mare Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit, an event that has grown from strength to strength, creating ripples of transformation in the gaming and tech landscapes. Since its inception, this summit has been more than just a gathering. It's been a vibrant hub of innovation, a crucible of ideas, and a catalyst for change. Every year, it tours the Baltic capitals, bringing together the brightest minds to discuss, debate, and shape the future. The Mare Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit has been a beacon, illuminating the path for gaming and tech professionals. It has sparked conversations around emerging trends, fostered collaborations, and propelled the growth of the industry in the Baltic and Nordic regions. With each passing year, the event has evolved, reflecting the dynamic nature of the gaming and tech industries. It's grown in scale, in scope, and in ambition. And in 2024, it's all set to make waves in Tallinn, followed by Vilnius in 2025 and Riga in 2026. The significance of the Mare Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit cannot be overstated. It's not just an event, it's a movement, a harbinger of the future. It's where gaming meets technology, where innovation meets opportunity, where the future is not just predicted, but created. So, as we look to the horizon, one thing is clear. The future of gaming and technology in the Baltic and Nordic regions is bright, and it's being shaped right here at the Mare Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit. Ever pondered what the future holds for gaming and technology in the Baltic and Nordic regions? The answer lies in the evolution of the Mare Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit, an event that has grown from strength to strength, creating ripples of transformation in the gaming and tech landscapes. Since its inception, this summit has been more than just a gathering. It's been a vibrant hub of innovation, a crucible of ideas, and a catalyst for change. Every year, it tours the Baltic capitals, bringing together the brightest minds to discuss, debate, and shape the future. The Mayor Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit has been a beacon, illuminating the path for gaming and tech professionals. It has sparked conversations around emerging trends, fostered collaborations, and propelled the growth of the industry in the Baltic and Nordic regions. With each passing year, the event has evolved, reflecting the dynamic nature of the gaming and tech industries. It's grown in scale, in scope, and in ambition. And in 2024, it's all set to make waves in Tallinn, followed by Vilnius in 2025 and Riga in 2026. The significance of the Mayor Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit cannot be overstated. It's not just an event, it's a movement, a harbinger of the future. It's where gaming meets technology, where innovation meets opportunity, where the future is not just predicted, it's not just created. An event, it's a movement. As we look to the horizon, one thing is clear. The future of gaming and technology in the Baltic and Nordic regions is bright, and it's being shaped right here at the Mayor Balticum Gaming and Tech Summit.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the HIPTHER'S weekly huddle. We have a freshly squeezed episode for you, as we always do on Thursdays. The one thing that you might have noticed that my co-host Daniel Gumba is missing. He's relocating to Tallinn, so he sent his best regards, but he cannot make it in this week and probably the next week as well, because you know how relocating is. But talk about relocations. It's glad to have the HIPTHER'S Weekly Huddle is glad to have such a high caliber guest here, with which I've talked earlier on WhatsApp, and we were joking that we are living in the Matrix, because 6 years ago on this same week we hosted a stream on igaming radio.com. Yeah, it was a similar show we did, but it was exactly on the same week 6 years ago. So the Matrix is real, my friend. So I would like to introduce you all to Mike Honda, a founder at Coach Professional. Hi, Mike. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Zoltan. It's great to be here. 6 years on, it's unbelievable that this just happened to fall on the exact same date, like when we met 6 years ago. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's strange. So, all right. So, guys, you know how it is. We would like to always give the floor to our guest to say a few words about himself. So, Mike, could you share your journey into the gaming industry and your professional background?
Thank you, Zoltan. So my journey to the gaming industry was a little bit unconventional. My brother had a bit of a gambling problem. He's much older than me, and that's how I got exposed to gambling at a young age. And my mother had an accounting firm, and one of her clients was actually a slot machine operator. And I was interning at the family accounting firm. I saw the books, and by far, this guy had the best numbers. So I got very interested about the gaming industry, knowing how much money my brother actually lost and how much money this guy is making on the other side from the slot machines. And I was like, okay, this is a lucrative opportunity. So as soon as I graduated, I moved to London and I took a casino course and I started working in the casino industry, land-based frontline. I was dealing, and that was the beginning for me.
All right. So I think first time I met Mike was in 2016 in Budapest at one of our conferences when we had the bomb threat. I think that was the conference we were there.
Yes, funny enough, that's actually true. Yeah, I've been going to gaming conferences since 2004. That was the first time I went to the ICE. It was at Earl's Court at the time, and it was together with the arcades back then. So it was so small that there were like the gaming tables and all the gaming tech, and upstairs there were a separate section for the arcades, you know, the traditional gaming machines. It was awesome. So I've been going to industry events since, and of course we met at one of these events back in 2016 when they called the bomb scare at the Hilton Hotel at Budapest.
Yeah.
It's insane, but it still turned out to be a really fun event.
Yeah, it was. All right. So those who tuned in were like now thinking that is this going to be another episode about the iGaming industry? No, guys, it's not going to be about the iGaming industry. It's totally different today because my next question to Mike is what prompted you to depart from the gaming industry?
That's a great question, and it's my son actually. So when my son was born in 2011, I decided to leave the industry. I wanted to be a role model for him and to lead by example. So I wanted to do something with a higher purpose, I'd say. And well, I started an email marketing company, and that's how we met. My co-founder was Sebastian DeVos. So Sebastian came from MRC's e-marketing systems, which is at the time the largest email volume sender in Europe. And we created a deliverability solution, which got acquired later. So that's how we met at the conference. This is what we were bringing to the gaming industry back then. And after the company got acquired, I actually had a lifetime hobby and a passion, which was martial arts. So I opened the gym, and that also got acquired in 2021. And I decided I just wanted to move into development, but more like on the personal and professional side rather than on the physical side of things. So that's what I do now with Coach Professionally. I help people with their personal and professional development by building this reputation management platform for the coaching industry.
All right. So what is your current professional role? If you could just like describe it, and of course, what influenced you to take this path?
So I'll start with the influence, if I may. I was looking for skills that I can transition after I saw the gym, and summing up my personal and professional journey. I was looking for skills I can transition into a role where I can really make a difference in people's life, and I can make a positive contribution to the world. And I took a coaching certification under Ericsson International, which was a very interesting certification. However, I feel like for me personally, it was a bit of a mismatch because it was very corporate oriented, right? And I come from the startup world. Like, of course, like casinos are corporations, so I do have some corporate experience as well. However, I feel more strongly about the startup world, let's say, right? So after this certification, I realized how much crap is out there about coaching. Like there is a lot of mistrust towards coaches, and everybody is marketing. Oh, you just take this coaching certification and you buy my program for 10K, and in 3 months you'll be making 10K a month. And I was like, well, I come from marketing. And actually, I come from casino marketing in a sense. So I kind of know about these things, and I haven't heard these kind of results before. So I started scratching the surface a little bit, and I found lots of unethical practices, lots of scams. The coaching industry is completely unregulated. Anybody can say anything what they want, and there is no one else to say otherwise. So I decided to develop a reputation management platform where both coaches and coaching industry providers can track and demonstrate their reputation publicly. So there is a public record of their achievements and their reputation, and basically help the industry to become cleaner and more ethical.
All right. Could you explain what employer branding involves? Because this will be a question that is interesting for everyone.
It's a great question, and this is something I helped the casino with quite recently. So after COVID, for instance, I'll share an example. After COVID, there was broken trust in the hospitality industry and the employees, because many employees got laid off, including casino employees as well. And when they reopened, it was difficult to bring the staff back to recruit, because people taken different jobs or they weren't feeling secure to going back to work, right? So this created a problem that, let's say, the employer branding went down. People didn't see hospitality businesses, including casinos, as attractive employers, because they saw them as high risk and somebody that they can't trust. So employer branding is fixing that, let's say, making your workplace an attractive one for talent to join you, to stay with you, and to increase retention, to reduce the churn rate of your employees.
All right. So also, I'm also interested if you could describe the process of cultivating a company culture.
The company culture has many elements, but likely, unless you're just starting fresh, if you already have a company, you do have a company culture. Whether you are consciously aware of this or whether you're not, there is already an existing culture. Now, analyzing what are the company values, what are the values that the employees hold, and why they are working with you, gives you clarity about how to attract like-minded people who are happy to work in that environment, stay in that environment, and it will also give them opportunities. So you can really grow together, both the employees and you as the employer and your company.
All right. Another question would be, why is it important to ensure values align when assembling a team? Is this something that could cause a problem if it doesn't happen?
Right. Well, if the values are not aligned in the team, then there are going to be differences and friction between the team members, right? And this can really hold back the progress of the company, and it can also reduce the employee morale overall, right? So it can lead to toxic workplace environments. But when you have a clear set of values that you co-develop with your existing team and employees by surveying them, eliciting their preferences and their beliefs, then you can really focus and tailor your hiring process to recruit like-minded people who are happy to be in that environment, and that just propels your progress and your growth, regardless of the industry, whether that is a gaming industry, whether that is igaming, tech. This is applicable all across the board, and it's used by big companies, banks typically apply this, and corporations. It's a commonplace in corporations, especially medtech, and the big pharma uses this for years and years. They adopted this methodology like 20 years ago.
All right, so let's also talk about diversity and inclusion, because something we've been touching based upon in the past 5 years. So what are your thoughts about the importance of diversity and inclusion in the workspace? Is it something that needs to be considered as real, or is it something that just companies use for PR?
That's a controversial topic. You really put me on the spot now, but
It is.
yes, I feel like, of course, equality is a very important value that I feel like we can all agree on. I never met anyone in a professional setting who doesn't agree that employees, regardless of the background, the gender, should be treated equally, right? So everybody, I think we all agree on this. When building diverse teams, I think it brings a lot of value to bring different perspectives to the table and different approaches, which can enrich your company culture, and it can propel your growth as well, because you'll be considering things that otherwise you wouldn't have. However, too much diversity is also a problem in terms of, like, if people hold fundamentally different beliefs, then it will lead to conflicts and problems within the team, within the company, and it can even break a company. So when we talk about diversity and inclusion, like in terms of gender and all of that, of course, that's a non-arguable fact that absolutely you should have it. When talking about mindset, mentality, and beliefs, it's not necessarily true. It depends. Really, you need to establish your company values and attract people who are on board with those values, who are like-minded, who doesn't cause friction in your team, so you can propel your progress.
Also, it's also part of the culture of innovation and creativity, because it certainly boosts that. So I also want to ask if how can organizations foster a culture of innovation and creativity, particularly in industries like gaming or any tech industry?
That's another great question. Now, the gaming industry, especially iGaming, prides itself for adopting new technologies early on, and they're very outspoken and proud of this fact. However, when it comes to human capital development, I feel like the industry is really lagging behind, and they have, past century practices often in many cases. So innovation and creativity, it comes from your employees. So it's like this top-down management style is really out of fashion. It's not just fashion, it's basically, it's proven that doesn't produce the best results in a factory, maybe, right? So there are certain settings where you need to apply a water flow management style in crisis management, for instance, or in a factory kind of production setting. But if you want creativity and innovation, you really need to look at different approaches, such as the coaching approach.
All right. So from your experience, what guidance would you give to individuals aiming to climb the career ladder, let's say in the iGaming industry?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think you really need to map out where you want to go, like what are you looking to achieve within your career, like what position are you striving for, what's the dream life, the dream outcome that you're looking for, and then you can reverse engineer the road there. So, for example, a career coach can help you to map out your career development path, or co-create your career development path with you. Of course, the information is coming from you. It's not like somebody's going to come and tell you this is what you need to do with your life. You need to come up with that. The person just helps you to get clarity on that, and then with that you can decide whether the iGaming industry is right for you, or the gaming industry is right for you, whether you want to progress in that industry, or whether you would like to do something different with your life. And that's important, because once you sign up, yes, this is what I want to do and I want to advance, then you're going to start delivering way more value to the company as well, because you have a purpose now. You're doing it with a purpose, with a clear goal in mind, and you grow together.
All right. So basically, you could call it as a mentorship, right?
mentorship and coaching are a little bit different. So mentors typically provide more input. So a mentor would be somebody who's further ahead in the game, right? So let's say when we talk about casino management, so if somebody is a casino manager and we're talking about maybe a pit boss, and the pit boss would like to become a casino manager, then the manager can give him guidance,
All right.
professional development, how to get to that point. Career path development and coaching would be sitting down with that person and actually listening and helping that person to organize their thoughts and kind of vision board map out the different possibilities and see what resonates best with him, if that outcome is really what he wants, right? So if, let's say, how would your life look like if you became a manager? You know, how would it affect your personal life, your partner, your family life, maybe? You know, what would your days look like? Is that aligned with your personal goals? Like, do you want less stress in your life? Do you want more stress in your life? I mean, what's important to you right now? Do you want to achieve high financial goals and you're willing to make sacrifices, or you have more personal goals where you want to maybe take a sabbatical and write a book someday? You know, it's entirely up to them, and the coach can help them to go through this thought process and to explore all the different possibilities until the one clicks and they sign up. Okay, this is actually what I want to do, and this is why I want to do it.
All right. So side question, what's your opinion about this 4 days working week? Because I don't know how everybody else feels, but when it's Friday, I usually like to say I wish it was Monday because I got so much stuff to do that I cannot wait for the weekend. I need to just like when it's Monday again to continue that work. So what's your opinion about these 4 days? Because many companies are doing this type of advertising when they're hiring people about, wow, we're in the 21st century, we're now having 4 working days, blah, blah, blah. But what's your opinion as a coach about it?
So rather than giving you my personal opinion, I'll offer you two different perspectives, and you can choose which one is closer to your heart. One would be they say if you like what you do, you never work another day in your life. And that's what I'm hearing from you when you say, I wish it was Monday. And that's so true. If you enjoy what you do, if you find purpose in what you do, you're quite happy to do it. The second perspective is the importance of mental hygiene. So it doesn't matter what you do need to recharge, and you do need to find the right headspace to execute at a high level to the best of your abilities. Rest is an integral part of that. Different type of roles require different amount of rest. So for example, I have a really good friend who is a programmer, and yes, he probably does this 4 workday, like if you count his working hours, etc., he probably does about 4 days work in a week. But it's because his role as a system architect is so mentally challenging that he really needs to clear his mind and get the rest so that when he gets down to it, he can work with these elaborate mathematical formulas, right? He really needs the headspace for that, and he needs to clear his mind. However, if you work in a different type of role, let's say you work in marketing, you're promoting your products and whatever, you should be excited at selling your products. Like, you know, it's like I don't think, you know, you need 3 days to recover from that, but it's a personal choice.
So it's not a one size fits all.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is in your opinion? Is there? I mean, well, I want to ask, what role does continuous learning and skill development play in enhancing job satisfaction and retention in high turnover industries?
That's a very interesting question, and I feel like everybody likes learning. I mean, this was proven during the Corona lockdowns, right? There was this 2 years of lockdowns, and people were buying courses like crazy. Everybody was buying some kind of course, they wanted to upskill, they wanted to learn about things they're interested about. Plus, I mean, the technology is developing crazy fast. So there is also a need for adaptation that you need to really upskill to keep up with the tech and to stay relevant. So by offering this to your employees, like giving them the opportunity to grow in ways they want to grow and helping them to fit into your organizational structure in a way that is aligned with their interests, with their personal goals, it will really help your company grow as well.
All right, so let's also help out the companies here, and I would like to ask about what strategies might companies implement to reduce staff turnover?
So one thing I would definitely suggest, what we saw with the casino that I consulted last year, was to create a clear company culture that everybody is fully aware of and conscious of, and start your recruitment process according to that. Because once people don't leave jobs, people leave bad managers, or people leave because they are unhappy with their workplace, with their colleagues, or with the way things are run in an organization. They don't leave the job usually, or in some cases, of course, there are career changes, but that's a deeper misalignment from earlier on, right? And really, in your recruitment process, you should elicit whether the person is fully aligned with your company values, with your mission, with your goals, and what's the greatest value that they can bring to your company when they join, like where they fit into your organization. You know, what are their strengths, their weaknesses, how might they work with the existing team, how they fit in with their existing team. And by creating and fostering this positive, nurturing environment and giving them the opportunity to grow, you really can build very strong and lasting teams.
All right. All right. So as a final question, it would be advice maybe you could give for those considering a career switch, let's say from the gaming industry to another industry, or maybe from the fintech industry. What advice would you give them?
This is a tough question, and during my years in gaming, I saw many people who were unhappy in gaming, and they were unable to leave because, well, the pay was pretty good, and other jobs didn't offer comparable pay. At the same time, they were super unhappy, and they didn't know what were their transferable skills. So I think if you're considering a career change, it's very important to know what you really want to do. So without all the limitations, you have to put all the limitations aside and just think for yourself, if there were no limits, what is it that I would really like to do? And then that's a starting point. And that might mean that you might have to go back to uni, you might have to study, and it's not going to be easy, but it is possible to upskill and make that transition. If you work on a casino floor, there are very little transferable skills that you can apply in other jobs, in my experience. I mean, your arithmetic skills are going to be great, so maybe you can transition into accounting by learning Excel, or the use of an accounting software, and to an entry point it can be bookkeeping, for instance, right? So there are options. It's just what you really want to do, and finding the way. What would it take for me to get there, and is that viable? And you need to pace it out, but it's certainly going to be a transition, and it's going to involve more work. So for a period of time, you're not only going to have to deliver at your job and show up to an acceptable standard, but you're also going to have to work on building out your new career path.
All right. So thank you for this first part. Now we move on to the second part, where we will discuss some topics that rose up in the meantime. And of course, the world of AI, which is very interesting and it's evolving very quickly. just found an article about the fact that 80% of AI decision makers are worried about data privacy and security, which is very interesting because organizations are enthusiastic about generative AI's potential and of course for their potential to increase their business and people productivity, but lack of strategic planning, of course, and talent shortages are preventing them from realizing its true value. So this article on artificial intelligence news.com, the core message of the article is that while organizations recognize the significant potential of generative AI to enhance business and employee productivity, their ability to fully realize this potential is hindered by, like I mentioned, several key challenges. So these include a lack of strategic planning, talent shortage, difficulties in integrating AI with existing systems, compliance issues, and the unpredictability of the cost, of course, because that one is changing every week. So strategic investment in technology that offers integration, governance, and explainability of large language models is essential for organizations to overcome these hurdles and leverage on the generative AI effectively. So what's your opinion about this article, in particularly on the talent shortage side?
Talent shortage is definitely an issue. I think we got to the point in history and in time where schools don't know what to teach anymore that will be applicable in 2-3 years time, because we're going through such a rapid change that I think maybe 50% of the jobs that we have will probably not exist in the next 5 years. So by the time the people who are starting university this year, by the time they graduate, those roles might not even exist that they're currently preparing for. And that's why the creator economy is so important and thriving, because they can demonstrate a much more rapid response to this. Just like when you have a big corporation, so big corporations typically don't develop new technologies, they acquire companies who are more agile, who are responding faster to the market, and they acquire these technologies. And I feel like that's probably going to be the future of education also, where well, there are going to be decentralized educational institutions, and they are going to be acquiring content creators or content from content creators who are responding to the market faster. But this is going to this is going to need a fundamental legislative change to education.
Yeah, it's very strange, and people are still bitching about the fact that AI is going to steal their job. But yeah, it's not all gloom and gloom everywhere. So you can just learn some new skills that AI is not doing yet.
Like, look, some jobs won't exist in the current form, but jobs will exist. They're just going to be different. So it's important to learn and develop. I mean, you never stop, right? You never stop. You have to adopt this part of growth.
Yeah. So there's an interesting news that you shared with me today, staying in the AI field, where a tech exec predicts that AI girlfriends will create a $1 billion business. It's very strange to see this article and the fact that it mentions that somebody has admitted that spending $10,000 per month on AI girlfriends.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching the movie with Joaquin Phoenix back in 2013.
Yeah.
Flutter, and I thought it was insane, right? Like, you thought, okay, this is sci-fi. And here we are 11 years later, and it's totally real. It's just here.
Yeah, but it's big money. Based on this article, I seen that yeah, they're predicting a $1 billion market, especially seeing that some people and it's strange that this is a 24-year-old guy who spends $10,000 on an AI girlfriend.
I mean, totally. Yeah, there is a massive divide between men and women these days, especially with the political views and with the expectations. I feel like there are a lot of mismatched expectations in society, and the media is not your good media. There are certain media outlets that are deliberately fueling this divide for whatever reason. I don't know if it is just for sensationalism or whether that there is a bigger underlying agenda and a purpose, but I don't want to get into conspiracies. Not much of a conspiracy theorist really, but nevertheless, it's comfort, right? That's what the article says as well, that is just a quick fix to a problem that people are having, and if they can solve it in a easier way, people always gravitate towards the least resistance, and if they can fulfill that need for comfort in an easier way, they're definitely going to offer it. But how that's going to shape our society and our future as a whole remains to be seen.
All right, so let's also talk about blockchain and cryptocurrencies because Bitcoin has now dipped under $60,000 for the first time since March 5th. I think it's a bloodbath. Some people are seeing it as a good occasion. Some people are panicking. So what's your take on this?
I mean, the halving is coming, so typically, I think before the
2
halving.
days. 2 days. I think it's April 20th. Yeah.
So I think it used to dip. I'm not an analyst, so don't quote me on this. But if I remember correctly, it used to dip before the halving usually, and after the halving, it spikes up again. Again, I'm not an expert in this subject. It's interesting to see. I just watched an interview from a long time ago with John McAfee, him slating Bitcoin as the most useless tech, and he was saying that Bitcoin is the most obsolete of all the cryptocurrencies because you cannot attach smart contracts to it. So me personally, I'm more of a fan of Ethereum, and that's what I know more about.
All right. So there's other news about Justin Sun rising back again. The founder, best known for launching Tron, the blockchain ecosystem alongside their own cryptocurrency TRX token. Well, they're doing a collaboration with Hans Zimmer now.
Wow.
Yeah, and they want to release an anthem for the blockchain ecosystem.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I don't know how this is going to play out, or is it just like a PR stunt to get TRX back in the news again? But yeah, what's your opinion about this?
I don't know. I mean, you know how PR works in
A theme
the
song for
industry.
blockchain. Come on.
You know how PR works in the industry? Like crypto bought the stadium in crypto.com bought the stadium, and they hired Matt Damon, and they
Yeah, yeah,
do this massive publicity stunt. But when you talk about theme songs, you know what's interesting? Have you seen will.i.am, the artist, new technology that they created a system for Mercedes that as you drive, it creates a song?
Oh, wow. No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he created this tech and he sold it to Mercedes. So now you can have this device and application built into your car, and as you drive, you're literally composing a song. It's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow. Hey, the future is near, and yeah, I think that's about it, guys, for this week. And I would like to thank Mike for his time. I know that he's always busy. Make sure to check out it's coachprofessionally.com, right?
That's right. That's right. And if you're a coach, you can get listed there. And if you're a provider for the coaching industry, you can also get listed there. And if you need help with your personal and professional development, it is a platform where you can find credible providers who can really help you achieve your personal or professional goals.
We like that. Credible. We were always seeking out the people that are doing the right stuff out there, not just like screwing around people with reviews and stuff like that. All right, Mike. Thank you
Thank
so much. And thank
Thank
you
you
for
too,
our
Zoltan.
audience for joining us this week again. We will be back next week with our Thursday weekly huddle. Until then, take good care, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Take care. Bye bye.